Welcome to Bentley House. I'm Ara, and today I am going to be working on a miniature aquarium. If you tuned in last week, I showed you that I acquired some UV resin. Actually, it looks like it's leaking out. That's good. Fantastic. I guess I didn't close that very well. Anyway, so there were some comments on that video about what can you do with UV resin, and I really just started learning about it. So I thought I do need to make an aquarium for the Addams family, and so I thought that's what we would do today and just see how it works. Hi Angela. What time is it for you? Is it late evening? Because I think for like Australia it's like 2 a.m. in the morning or something for those guys. So we're back streaming in the morning because my kids are at school during this time, and I'm glad you guys can join on a Tuesday because that's just easier for me. So this is going to be my stream schedule for the school year. So we'll go ahead and get started because actually we have a lot to do today, and I'm hoping I can get at least the entire aquarium scene finished. So I'll go ahead and tell you what I did for this part. I went ahead and worked on this last night because I wanted the glue to be completely dry, but I will tell you what I did to make this part. And if you can tell, I have my camera from the side, so I hope that's not too dizzying or confusing, but I'm trying to invent ways that aren't just like straight down where you guys can see what I'm doing. And actually it's pretty easy to move this camera around if I need to. But, you know, just getting you guys the best view is what is my goal on this camera angle here. So I got a 4 p.m., 6 p.m. Edwina, we are working on an aquarium for the Addams family. So if you don't know much about the Addams family, I've been working on a project for them, but they do have, in the TV show, they talk about their pet piranhas, Tristan and Isolde. And so in the TV show, the water is black, and so you cannot actually see into the water. I want to make an aquarium that you can see into and put, you know, some detail, put some plants. I want to put some bones in there, and I want to actually be able to see the piranhas because I'm not sure that black water would really translate to those who are not as familiar with the Addams family as I am. They might be like, why is it all black? So I'm pretty sure that was for camera tricks because in the scene they put a big like turkey leg in there and the water bubbles like the piranhas are eating the turkey leg. I'm fairly sure that was just for camera trick purposes back when there wasn't much CGI, etc. type stuff. So we're going to make a clear water tank with a couple piranhas. Maybe they just cleaned it. I'm not quite sure. 8 a.m. All right. Awesome. Early or earlier for you. Not too early though, not 2 a.m. So that's good. So what I did to make this is this is just some plexiglass, and it is probably a 30/32 of an inch thick. And you can get this at a lot of craft stores or some hobby stores or even hardware stores is the word I'm thinking of. And what I did, I had an extra piece somewhere. Of course I lost it. Oh, there it is. What I did is I measured the height of how tall I wanted the aquarium to be. And then we'll just pretend like this is still attached. Sorry, my fingerprints are all over the place. And what I did is I scored a really long line at the height of the aquarium that I wanted it to be. And then I just snapped this piece off. And so this was longer. This is the leftover. This was a longer piece. And then I just cut how wide I wanted it to be. I cut 2 of those pieces for how wide. And then I cut 2 pieces for how deep I wanted it to be. And so I made sure those were as close to being the same as possible. And by cutting the height all at once, I made sure it was the same height on all 4 pieces. Yes, that's probably why. And then I took, this is like a really little, I think this isn't quite, maybe a 16th inch by 16th inch piece of wood. Again, you can get this at hobby stores, any place where they do like railroad type stuff. And what I did is I lost my extra, it's clear, so I keep losing it. I laid my extra piece down. Let me put this where you guys can see it. I laid my extra piece down. I added glue, and then I glued a wood piece on either side. So one here, and then one on this side, and then I let that dry. So I had the wide piece with 2 pieces of wood on either side. And then I didn't glue the glass pieces together first. I grabbed a piece for my base. This is just some extra mat board. You can use, well, you can probably use wood. I didn't know how much that would soak in the resin, so I decided to use mat board because I've used that before with resin and it worked okay. So this is just mat board. This is again a 16th inch thick mat board, and I just glued this first piece kind of like this with the 2 wood pieces on either side. Let me know if any of this is not making sense. And then I just added these little side pieces, and then I glued the back piece on. So I glued these wood pieces onto the long pieces separately. Then I added these and then just glued them all to this base piece. So try and give you an up close look of that, and I just used regular tacky glue for that. So I'm not sure if it's watertight. I really don't know. We'll find out. But I'm gonna cut it from this base piece, but I wanted to show you that I just glued it onto some mat board, and then I'm gonna cut it out. You could probably cut it out first if you wanted to, but I didn't know quite how big I was going to make it. Plus, I made this a little bit wider because I'm going to make it an aquarium table because I want it to stand freely by itself in the conservatory. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this guy free. I'm going to be checking my camera angle, make sure I'm on screen quite often because I'm used to the top-down view. And so I need to figure out how far away from the lens of the camera I can get, and also let me know if you can't hear me. I feel like I have a new camera set up each and every week, so it just takes some adjusting sometimes. So I'm hoping to get the aquarium environment done. If I get that done and complete, then I'll also try and build the table part. But since I still have to make the fish out of clay and bake those, I'm not quite sure how long it's going to take. And we're going to be building up the water in UV resin layers, so I'm not sure how long that's going to take either. Luckily, UV resin cures rather quickly, but at the same time, we might be doing several layers. So I don't know. And this may take up all of my UV resin. Like there's still quite a bit in here, but I don't know. I tried to make it as small as possible that I thought would make sense for like a fish tank. Do you think it would work with clear packaging instead of plexiglass? I think it would. It would have to be some pretty thick clear packaging. You have to remember that the UV resin gets hot when you cure it, so you always have the possibility of it warping. So you might test it on something before you put all the effort into making a tank. Test it on something and see if it's going to warp the plastic that you're planning to use. But a lot of plastic packaging these days for toys that you get, it can be pretty strong stuff, so it's very possible. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint the bottom of this tank. Later on, I'm going to put some rocks in the bottom, but right now I just want to paint the bottom of it. So if anything's showing through, I don't want it to be like stark white. Probably should use a smaller brush. And I'm going to let that dry before we start putting stuff in. And then I have to make the piranhas, and so that's why I have a picture of a piranha in the corner there. I knew they had like the underbite thing going for them, but I couldn't picture their body shape, so I went ahead and put a picture up there for some reference. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just painting the very bottom of the tank brown, and then I probably am going to, before I start putting resin in, try and make these guys black. I should have done it before I glued the whole tank together, but I was in a hurry and I didn't think about it. So if you do want to try this, I do suggest painting, if you don't want it to be a bare wood pine color, to paint those before you glue your entire tank together, because then it gets more complicated. So anyway, did y'all get to see the UV resin video last week? Have you guys used UV resin before? It was my first time using it, and I've watched some other people use it. So I was really interested in it, and it had been suggested to me. I really liked it. Like I said in my video, if you saw it, it's definitely my kind of resin. It goes quickly. I am not a patient person, I feel like. And so waiting 48 hours for like 2-part resin to cure is really hard for me. I'll do it if I need to, but it's really hard for me to do. I like the fact that it cures so quickly. Now I do have the possibility of it coming out the bottom of this. But what I'm going to try and do is, once the resin goes in there, I'm going to try and cure it as fast as possible to keep it from leaking out. So we will see. Just another thing to buy. Yeah, you do, if you're a miniaturist, you do end up building up quite a collection of stuff. But I prefer to have useful stuff that I will use. I do have some stuff that I've collected over the years that I probably will never use, but I still can't get rid of it, and I don't know why. So I'm like, I might use it sometime, and I have for sure had the moment where I threw something away the week before because I'm like, I'll never use this, and then I needed it that week, the week just after I threw it away. That has happened. Not even lying. Well, you'll have to see how today's goes, Angela. We'll see. This is an experiment. I've never done the this much. The puddles on last week's video were very, very shallow. So we'll see how it works with something a little bit more substantial. Okay, so I'm going to let this guy dry. And I'm going to start making the fish because they're polymer clay and I need to put them in the oven. I grabbed my polymer clay stash and they look silvery, so I have a little bit of silver here and just a slight bit, maybe a little bit of gold. I'm looking at the same picture you guys have on screen. The bottom of the tank is mat board. It's the stuff that I use all the time that they use in frames to like go around pictures. It's paper. You can get it at craft stores. And then this is plexiglass, but you could probably use some very thick plastic packaging if you have some. Craft corner overflows. Yep. Pull out some of the things you have your next live stream and give you some ideas on what to make with it. Oh, that's a good idea. We could have a clean out my closet live stream. You guys can tell me what I need to do with it. Oh, it looks like I kind of mixed already some silver with some gold. That kind of looks, let me hold it up to the fish. That kind of looks okay. What do y'all think? I kind of like that color already mixed, so maybe I don't need to open this guy. All right, I think I like that guy, that color. I want to make them kind of small. I think piranhas are small. I've honestly never seen one in person. So I'm going to make them about the same size. You can beg for leftovers. Let's see. Gotta make this guy, I don't know, kind of cut them in half because I think I want them, yeah, I want them pretty small, I think. I have a giveaway coming up. I'm super excited. You guys are the first to know about it. It's not craft supplies, it's miniatures, but I'm really excited about it. I can't tell you anything else. It's coming up though, so stay tuned. I just finished editing some of it last night, so I'm super excited. Okay. Got some little body shapes here. Okay, this is where I think my new tripod thingy is going to come in handy. I can maybe force it to look down. It's very bendy. Let's see if we can get it to look down a little bit better. Okay. Let's see. As big as your hand, saw some last week at an aquarium. Okay, so if my hand is about 6 inches, so then they should be about half an inch. Oh, that's about perfect. Sweet. Okay. So their fins are really small. I got a few little tools out here. They've got like a big hump. See if I can start shaping at least one of these guys. Now remember, I'm not like a polymer clay artist. I'm still kind of learning, so we're gonna do our best here. Kind of get a little tail. I think I'm gonna have to pinch this. I know like the least you touch it, like the best. But I'm gonna have to pick them up to see what I'm doing here. We just want it to mostly look like it. It's not going to be a perfect piranha. I already have decided that it's not going to be perfect. Just to get the hint. Okay, let's get this guy, his little tail. They're really little. The tails are really little. Okay. So that's the shape. I think I even need to make it just a little bit smaller still. I already got the oven on. Just emphasize the jaw. Yeah. Because I don't think most people are going to look at my aquarium and go, that piranha's tail's not right. But they will notice the jaw, I'm sure. I just don't want him to look like a goldfish. It's got to look like a piranha. I wish I had time to just make one and then make a mold of it. That would be nice. Use polymer clay, but I'm not that good, but I have fun. Yeah, that's kind of the stage I'm at right now. I'm just kind of playing and seeing what I can make with it. Gotta pull out some little fins. Little fin on top here. And I'll kind of turn him over, I guess, and make sure that both sides look 3D instead of one side flat. Okay, now I'm gonna try and get his jaw. So that's his shape so far. All right, let me try and get his jaw in there. Got rid of my polymer clay because I sucked at cooking it every time. So I just use air dried clay. I have messed up a few things. I have definitely burnt a few things. I've learned not to use the convection. Don't use convection on polymer clay. Kind of the shape of an eye. Yeah. Yeah, it is the shape of an eye. It's very bumpy with a big belly. Okay. Squish him a little bit flatter here. Okay, let me get the jaw going. Definitely got an underbite. Wish they just had one piranha. That'd make this easier. But they have two. I don't think I'm going to be able to get any little teeth in there. I'm not that talented with polymer clay. So we're just going to have to go with the general shape. So he's got a little jaw. Oop, if I can push it the right way. So put it on the back of your clay cutter so you can work on the details without fingers in the way. On the back of my clay cutter. I'm not sure what you mean by clay cutter. This piece can actually go into the oven, so hopefully I can like kind of shape him on here. We'll see. Kind of like his jaw shape there. And I don't know. We may not turn out with the best piranha, but it'll be okay. We might paint a little detail on him when we're done. And then just kind of squish some fins. And then squish this out a little bit. Flatten it. Maybe I should have made these last night so you guys didn't have to watch me struggle with this. But I don't know. Maybe it's helping someone who wants to make a piranha. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay. Little piranha shape. Put a bone in its mouth. There's going to be some big bones in the bottom. Now, here's the trick. See if I can flip this guy over. Or maybe we're just going to have a one-sided piranha. See, I just ruined his fin. I think I'm just going to have to make him one-sided. And we'll have to make the other guy face the other way. So I'm no Sugar Charm Shop. She's like the best at this. And I'm still learning. And that's okay. Flow, go with the flow. We may just have to make it face one way. Or we'll put him in front of a plant so you can't really see the other side of him. Maybe that's what we'll do. Yes, he does need an eye. I'm going to try and get their shapes first. Let's see if I can scrape this off real quick. And let me see if I can get the other piranha going the other way. See, this is where I'd like to be able to just mold it. And this one be done. The struggle is real and on live stream. Yes, the struggle is definitely real. Struggle with little bitty small, oops, I'm about to smack the camera here. Little bitty small polymer clay thingies. Okay. Get the tail. That's where I started last time, was the tail. Oops. Okay. They don't have to be exactly the same, because one's a girl and one's a boy, and usually in the animal kingdom, male and female of a species sometimes look a little bit different, so we're gonna say that's all right if they're a different shape. Okay, and then need to do the jaw like I did. Kind of hold him in place. I don't know, we'll have to figure out which one is bigger. Usually the females are bigger. So whoever's bigger gets to be Isolde. Does anyone know that story, Tristan and Isolde? It's been a while since I was in school learning about historical literature. This one's not looking as good. Well, that's okay, like we said. Maybe this one got in a fight. Pull down the bottom fin. And they're not going to have side fins. That's just not a feature they're going to have. Star-crossed lovers. So kind of like Romeo and Juliet a little bit. I'm guessing Tristan is the boy and Isolde is the girl. And yeah, this one's back fin is not looking fantastic. All right, y'all may not be able to see this. I gotta look at it. The struggle is trying to show you guys and my poor eyesight being able to see it at the same time. Yeah, the first one's shaped a lot better. All right. Let me shape it a little bit more. Does anyone have fish? When I do a male or female, I get a reference picture for both. That's probably a good idea. I kind of came up with this at the last moment last night, so I'm just going with the flow today. And honestly, I'm already a step ahead of the Addams Family show because they just had black water. They didn't even really have piranhas in there, so I feel like I'm a step above here. Sorry, can y'all still hear me? I feel like I'm getting quieter and quieter. Okay. I think I still need to work on the fin just a little bit in the back. I just hope they come off once I bake them. Okay, one will be hidden more than the other one. We'll put the nice looking one up front and the sad looking one in the back. It's okay. They still love each other no matter what, and I just put a big dent in it. No matter their body type or imperfections, they still love each other. Okay. Man, I still really like that first one. Oh well. Okay, I think I'm going to try and add some eyes. I think that's as good as we're going to get for right now. So that we can try and at least get the aquarium going. And we'll just, you know, say it's all right. And once we get the plants and stuff in there, I think it'll be okay. Okay, so we need an eye. They have a little bit of red. Got to get the red for the eye. A little bit of red, and actually it's more like orange. It's actually orange. Dab with a toothbrush for the scale effect. I actually have this like really horrible watercolor brush, so we can try that. Give them a little bit of texture. Oh yeah, that's helping, I think. Kind of at least gives it a little bit of a shimmery look. Let's do the other guy. And you know, if all else fails and they look horrible, we'll just mix some black ink in that water and we'll call it a day. and will be accurate to the Addams family. So, you know, we've got a fail-safe, and we might need to use it. Okay, so I'm going to make some really, 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 really small eyes. I'm going to try get this on camera at least. Really small. Okay. I do have like this little bitty tool. Try and get this on here. Nope, not going to cooperate. There we go. That kind of got big, but their eyes are a little bit big. So I'm okay with it. If they look a little goofy, it's okay with me. All right, and then we need a little bit of black. And I might paint the orange that they have on the bottom a little bit, because I don't think I'm talented enough to smush orange on there without messing up my entire sculpt any more than I already have. So I just need a little bit of black, like tiny, tiny bit. Come on, there we go. Nope, that's too big. Okay, those of you who do polymer clay, is it easier to do it with long nails or without? Because I can't figure out. Is that the issue? Yes, this is a 1/12 scale. Or it's supposed to be. That's what I set out for. The tank is just a little bit big. Paint the rest after you bake it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna get the eyes in there, and then we're gonna put these guys in the oven because I am done with this. I can age furniture for hours, but polymer clay, I gotta get it done before I get too frustrated. Because like I said, I'm still learning. Sometimes new things that I don't always understand frustrate me, but that's okay. It's part of the process. All right, I'm just gonna squish those down a little bit. So here's our little piranhas to go into the oven, and then we'll add some little details after they come out. Without long nails, been there, tried it. Okay, so that could be part of my issue. Let me go stick this in the oven, and I will be right back, and we can start putting stuff in our aquarium. Okay, whew. That was the part I was nervous about. So I'm going to put a timer on my phone so I don't forget to go get the fish in 20 minutes. Timer, timer, timer. Cannot find the timer. Or I could have one of you guys time me. There we go, 20 minutes, okay. 20 minutes till the fish come out. I'm gonna take our little piranha friend off of there so you have more screen space to see what's going on. Okay, so now this paint has dried. Sorry, that's my dog coming in. The things I have to go into the aquarium, I have these little pebble things, And I have some greenery here. And then I have some bones because they're piranhas. Aren't they so small you don't need 20 minutes? I don't honestly know. I know that like the longer you bake it, the stronger it is. So I know for 20 minutes it won't burn. You know, famous last words, so we'll see. You never know. It probably will burn, but that's okay. So those are the things I have to put in. Now, as far as the bones go, I probably need to, like, these are just the little dollar store skeleton guys, and like if I just need the skull for something, I still keep the parts because I can use these in miniature scenes, like making a piranha aquarium. So I'm going to just kind of detach these from their other bones, and they're plastic. So sometimes, whoops, sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. And I'll go check them in like 15. I'll check them in 15 minutes and see how they're doing. Yeah, even if they burn, they're a dark color. They shouldn't burn, I don't think. I didn't turn the, whatchamacallit, the convection fan on, so we're good. All right, so I'm just kind of taking off some of the molded plastic. You know, they put something in a mold and like the edges come off. So there's one bone. So we can kind of stick them in here to see the scale. They're going to be buried a little bit in the stones. So we're not going to see every little bit of it. And they're not, these little skeletons are not anatomically correct. So, you know, I'm not looking for specific bones, just bone looking things. 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes will probably be fine. All right, I'll go check them in 15 and just pull them out and let them cool off. And then we'll be ready for them. They're going to be up towards the top, so we got a few layers of resin before we get those guys in there. So we got another bone. I need to pull out some pliers and stuff. And I thought maybe a few ribs, like curly ribs, would be good. So I got a little rib cage. Cut some ribs off. I'm sure someone just now tuning in is like, what is happening? You know, just cutting off a rib cage like normal. I wish these were more attached, but we'll just cut this way. You can cut them in half and have them sticking out of the rocks. That's what I was kind of thinking. Kind of like, you know, most aquariums have like a little fish house or a little rock with holes that the fish can go in and out of. This one's going to have a rib cage. Like you do, you know. So let me push these guys out. So kind of like that a little bit. I mean, I have to kind of cut that part off. The only problem with this stuff is like if you cut it, it shows like the nice new plastic. So we'll see. Of course, you kind of like build up the stuff and then halfway through you change your mind on what you want. But with the resin, if you're doing a layer at a time, you kind of just have to know your plan ahead of time. Trying to cut this big piece off. Okay, guess we're leaving that big piece on for now. Let me get some little tweezers. Looks like the boneyard from the Lion King. Yeah, can see that. But it's under the sea, or under the water in the aquarium. Come on. Okay. So kind of sit like that a little bit and have a few other bones sticking out. Maybe just one other bone. Like, I don't want to totally fill it up with bones. I could even hide the ugly fish under the under the bones. Whichever one turns out worse can hide under the bones. And then kind of lay that guy on top. It's easy. It's a little bit easier when the resin's in there because the resin will kind of stick and hold on to it a little bit, not a lot. It's still very liquidy. The rib cage will look cool because it gives the fish something to swim through. The ugly fish will swim through the rib cage. So kind of like that. Can y'all see okay? Like so. And then I really like this. Oops, y'all can't see. This little plant. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It was like a really long greenery piece. But I've used this for a lot of stuff. Let's see. I can stick this guy. And I'm okay if it kind of sticks out of the aquarium a little bit. That doesn't even go all the way in there. Here we go. So, have it kind of sticking out like so. And then have the little fish in there. Float one bone towards the top of the water. It's a good idea. Maybe like a little bone. See if I can find a small one. Just the ribs in the small one. We can kind of play with it as we go. I need to put the stones in first. Okay. So, I have this bone. Oh, no, that's one I cut off. All right. Plus we got to fit the fish in, and it's a small tank. So we'll just kind of play with it as we go. It's kind of like flower arranging, but it's bone and piranha arranging. It's a very special skill set to have. All right. So put all those aside. And I don't need the fish right away. So I'm going to go ahead and lay in some rocks. And I wish I had like a little scoop, but I don't. So I'm gonna use my hands, try not to spill it. I'm gonna back this camera up just a little bit again. Okay. Y'all can still see. All right, I'm gonna put a few of these in. And I'm not gonna worry about like gluing it to the bottom because the resin is gonna do that. We're just right now gonna cross our fingers and hope that it doesn't spill out everywhere. And the more stuff that goes in here, the less resin we use, so that's good too. Because I don't know if we have enough to fill this up. I really don't know how full that little resin bottle actually is. All right, so kind of smooth those out a little bit. And I probably want to go ahead and put the rib cage in so that he can kind of be sunk into the... Yeah, I need him to be sunk. Well, which way did he go? I've already lost what we were planned. He go like that? I thought he was the other way. Now I'm confused. Was it like that? Because I kind of want it, the big part open where the fish can go through. Like so. I think like that. Okay. Trying to get the rocks to even out. Yeah, okay. Now here comes the scary part, and I forgot to get my gloves, so we're just going to, I'm going to make the don't do this at home without gloves statement, but I'll be okay. Don't worry, I'll be okay. I think I want it back just a little bit. This is the nerve-wracking part because it's permanent. Like once you get the resin in there, it doesn't let go. Okay. Okay, I think I am also going to go ahead and put this guy in here. You can put a fish inside like it's hiding or chewing on bone. Okay, I agree. I think that big part needs to be towards the front. Okay, I should have started with the rocks because I had it in there how I really liked it, and now everything feels like it's not fitting anymore. Okay, get this in here. Come on. Okay. Okay. We're going to do the plant in a second. We're just going to try and get the rocks covered in resin. All right, here we go. I should be doing this with gloves, so just keep in mind if you try this to use gloves. And the resin should kind of level itself out, but you do want to kind of put it in the areas all around and not just in one corner. I'm talking like I've done this a lot. This is the second time I've made a project with it. It's kind of moving across the rocks a little bit. So I can shift it a little bit, but I don't want to move the rocks or the bones. So I don't want to move it so much. So I'm going to get a toothpick and just try and encourage it to move. But that's a little bit difficult with the rocks. So maybe it is a good idea to glue them down first, because then you're confident that they're not going to go anywhere. So I'll just make that note. It might be a good idea to do that. I definitely want some resin to go underneath the bones. All around. I'm trying not to hit the sides of the aquarium, but eventually it's going to have resin on it, so I don't think it's that crucial if I hit the sides. Should put the resin in, it'll hold the plant. Okay. All right, it looks like it's leveling out. We've got a decent level of resin here on the bottom. So I'm going to try and put the plant in before we cure this guy. And then also remember to put the lid on your resin, because UV light, which is sunlight, will cure the resin. So if you have the lid off for too long, it could cure the resin that's on the resin bottle. So just be careful. It's just not going in the corner like it was earlier. I don't know why it's having a fit. Okay, there we go. Kind of. There we go, kind of. Nope, it didn't want to stay. I guess I had it like a different way. So we'll kind of put it like so. See if I can show you. We'll put it like this. I'm going to try to cure it with it standing up. I don't know if I want to put too many plants in here because it'll get really busy. What do you guys think? More plants, less plants? I don't know. I'm thinking not that many plants. I just kind of like just one to give like the aquarium look, but also want like the barren bone look too. So okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cure this. We're just going to go for it. And I'm going to try and hold this plant up while it cures. Make sure y'all can see. Maybe one more plant, like a small piece. Let's see. See if I can get a really small one that will behave in the corner over on the other side. Oh, it's starting to leak. I didn't start fast enough. Okay. Come on. No. All right. I think I also need to put the bones in. At least one of the bones. Before I cure it. And I need to hurry up because it's leaking out the front. This is stressful, guys. This is a little bit stressful. That looks good. Mini plants will get busy. Okay. All right, we're just going to go with this because the plants are giving me issues. Okay, it's already holding that plant in place now. So I'm just going to do this for like a few minutes. I sent you the link of what I was talking about, putting the fish on the clay cutter on Facebook Messenger. Okay, thank you. I'll check that out. Definitely help for next time. I have like a big long blade. I just didn't get all my stuff out this time. I just got a few little clay pieces, and I got the glass piece that I can put in the oven. Oh, what time is it? Oh, I need to go check on the fish. Okay. Did it leak out the back? Okay, it leaked out the back and the front, but not very much. I think I can cover it up with paint, so I think we'll be okay. Linked just a little bit. But now it should be completely sealed because the resin is in there. So we shouldn't have any, unless it leaks on the sides, we shouldn't have any other leaking problems. Or we could do the green fuzz. We can probably add another plant. I just want to get this guy cured because I saw we were leaking. We don't want to do that. Okay. That's probably at least, oops, cured enough that it's not going to be leaking out. Let me see. Yeah. So I didn't even cure it the amount of time it tells me to, and it's hard. So I'm going to let this sit here for a second. I'm going to go get the fish, and then they got to cool off. So I'll probably put them on this other desk over here, and then I will, we'll come back and mess with another bone. So let me go get the other fish. Okay, they didn't burn, so we're good on those. I'm actually going to try, they're still warm, but I'm going to try and just paint them a little bit while they're warm. I don't know if you can paint on things while they're warm, but I need them to cool off, and the paint is room temperature, so that may be helpful. I'm going to get some orange paint just to paint their bellies, and I already have some black, no, I'll get some black paint for their tails. You can't use a razor blade to cut it off. To cut off, you'll have to let me know what you're talking about to cut off. Oh, you mean like the leaked resin out of the, well, it's kind of on the base of the tank, so I'm not sure if I could cut it off without kind of cutting into my base. So we'll see. All right, I got a little bit of orange and a little bit of black. So I'm just gonna take some, let me put my piranha picture back up so we can get them as accurate as possible. I have no more room for my mouse to move on my desk. Okay, there he is. So he just gets a little bit of black on his tail. And the glass is still even hot. And on the extra fins, like so. And the other guy. And the ugly one is facing the correct way. Or shouldn't call him ugly, that's not very nice. The not so great looking one, is that any better? He's facing the correct way to kind of poke out of the bones. So we'll definitely use him down there. Looks like they have a little bit of black on their little foreheads. And then the orange goes kind of on their bellies. Painting it hot will probably make the paint dry faster. That's true. We're just trying all sorts of new stuff today. And then the orange kind of goes like under their jaw a little bit. Like so. All right, so here's our little fishy looking guys. I don't want to add too much. I think this guy could use a little bit more orange. So, okay, fix anything with some glitter. Well, there should be sparkle in, I don't know if y'all can see it on the camera, but there's shimmer inside the clay. So it should shimmer a little bit. It's not really showing up. I can see it more in person than I can on the camera, but they are shimmery. So hopefully they will cool down just a little bit quickly. And we can kind of talk about the next things I'm going to put in. What time is it? Okay, so we've only had an hour go by, so that's good. We might be able to get through kind of building the base for the aquarium too. Oh, and the other thing, I wanted to make the edges of the aquarium black, so I'm going to do that real quick. Do the things I can do while the fish are cooling off. So this is kind of how I cheat sometimes. If I don't want to paint something black, I just use a Sharpie. So I'm just going to make the edges of this guy black. And it may not look super clean, but you know what? Nothing I do really looks clean ever. And I think we'll probably, or I'll probably add a little aging to the glass, just like some paint mixed with a little bit of water, like things have spilled over the edge a few times and there's some blech on the side. So this is where I'm saying I probably should have done it before I put the glass on there, because now you can see the color of the original wood from the inside of the aquarium. But oh well. Take them off the glass. Okay, that's a good idea. I'm gonna carefully get these guys off the glass. Now, they may lose a fin because the fins are really thin. So I'm going to try my best. It's like surgery. All right, that guy's free. Okay, one free, and my knife is coming apart. Let's get the other guy free. The handsome boy. All right, he's free. So I'll put him right there. Okay, now they're off the glass. That was a great idea. So they can cool a little bit. And, okay. I might want to put a little bit of paint on the back of them, even though they're not 3D. I'll put a little paint on the back just so if someone did happen to like try and look really closely, they think maybe I tried to at least do the back. So yeah. Okay, so this is our last bone, I think. Where'd my pliers go? There they go. So we have this bone. Do we want it to kind of cross on top of here? It could go kind of behind the plant a little bit. Like so. I don't know. I think I do maybe want to add a plant in the corner over here to maybe hide the back of the handsome fish. Let's see, I had a piece that I gave up on, this guy, and he now has resin on him, so I'm going to throw him away. And yeah. So I'm going to be pretty excited if I get this finished because I think it's the last like custom piece I need to make for the conservatory, so I can kind of finish up the Addams conservatory. That would be really nice to be able to have done. Okay, so this guy, you know what? I kind of want a plant sticking up out of the aquarium. So maybe I'm going to cut a longer one and just make it look like it's grown out of the aquarium, because Morticia's conservatory is supposed to be like plants kind of grown out of control. So maybe this one's sticking out like that. What do y'all think? Or it could even go, no, it can't really go like that. It's got to go like this. Kind of growing up. Paint the inside corners like algae. I would have to do that now. Oh, I totally forgot to finish my outside edges. Okay, let me do that. I could do the inside corners algae, except I already have resin on the bottom. And I can't go back and do that there. So you should do it how you made the sproutlings. Like little bitty, like cut little bitty ones. Or I have also like this plant that's like crazy. This looks like aquarium fish plant where they're just crazy out of control. And then I have this like little vine thing. So those are some of the other ones. Maybe I should have just left it plain wood. Oh well. A few leaves at the bottom of the plant too. Across the front. Oh, like little plants across the front. Like little bitty ones. I think maybe I don't know if I can get those because the resin's now covering the rocks. So I may make a part, like a second one because this is, you know, first time I've done this, first time like thinking through the process, because it's definitely a process you have to think through. Like, okay, I have to know every single thing that's touching the bottom before I even start, so that it can be in the first layer of resin. And if you forget something, it's like you're out of luck. The vine across the back hanging out. Maybe. Let me see if I have a thin Sharpie I can get in these little places. Okay, our fish are cooling down. We might be able to add the little guy in. Now I'm just making a mess. Okay, I need to stop with this. I may have to just do like a detail brush after I'm done. The takeaway from this is always paint these sticks before you start your aquarium, and then you won't have the problem I'm having right now. So, okay, let me kind of, I don't think I need to paint the back of this little guy because he's going to be in the bones. Let's see if I can get him. I have to be gentle. So here's our little piranha. Oop, there he is. And he's gonna go in the bones, if we can get him in there. Ooh, he's kind of big. Like, he doesn't look big until you try and get him in there. He's kind of big. Let's see. I might have to have him like he fills up. Can y'all see that? He fills up the entire opening of the bones. I didn't really realize that. But he is kind of cute poking out like that. He's like, what's up? When are you gonna feed me? Okay. I think what I'm gonna try to do, this is what I'm going to attempt to do. I'm going to try and put a drop right there where he's going to go of resin, and then I'm going to try and stick him on top of it as quickly as I can and cure it so he's stuck there. As my plan. My husband just got home. Okay, so I'm going to pull him out carefully as I can. I'm going to try and leave him in my pliers so that I can do this as quickly as possible. I'm going to go ahead and turn my UV light on. We'll see how quick my reflexes are on this. Okay, let me get this open. Nope. All right. Wish me luck. I see you. All right, piranha guy. Let's get you in the resin. Sticking out. Kind of. No, no, no. No. We've got a problem. Now he's dead on the floor of the aquarium. Okay. See if I can get him up. Come on. Come on, little guy. You can do it. Okay. I got him up, kind of. I'm trying to find a place to put my resin-soaked thing. Okay. UV. Oh my gosh, his eye is glowing. Okay. Oh gosh, y'all can't see. His eye glows like that orange. All right, I got him peeking out. Whew. I just didn't want the resin to like soak somewhere else and then there would be none there. So I was trying to get him into like the pile of resin. But, okay. So he's sufficiently stuck. I'm just gonna have to make sure that I get resin all around him, because right now you can see it's like coming up the side. So I'm just gonna have to make sure I get it all around him. But I do like, he's sticking out right there. I think I could put a little plant like right behind him. Like a little one, like the sproutlings like y'all were talking about. Let's see. Nope, maybe not. This is so fiddly. This is crazy. That's why I normally deal with like paper and wood, like in larger items. But I will be pretty proud of myself if I am able to make an aquarium, because I've been wanting to try and do this for a while, and I've been trying to like get other people to do it for me, and that hasn't happened. So I don't know. Do we want a little plant sticking out behind him, or just leave him? In the corner behind the bones. Dead fish in the Addams house would be appropriate, probably. Oh, stick between the bones of the rib cage. That's a good idea, because then it will actually stay in place. All right, let me flip this guy around. Stick you in the bones. There we go. Edwina figured it out. Thank you. Okay. So he's sticking out like so. So I'm thinking the other guy, I do want to try and make him look like he's swimming, because part of the effect of having a fish aquarium is to make it look like the fish is swimming, right? So, and the other side is so blech. I wish I had at least done one piranha both sides. Oh well. Maybe we'll just paint him and see if he turns out okay. But we've got a few layers before we get to him. So I am going to just give him a little paint job. It won't look as great as the other side, but he at least won't look as plain. Just give him a little black on his tail, on his top fin. He'll just look flat on one side, and we'll still love him for that. Okay. Ah, they're so tiny. I finally made another of your shrews. Yay! I understand getting lost in a miniature project. That's why I never really know. What am I looking for? I don't know. I never really know how much time something's going to take me, because I get lost in miniatures so often. With his head up, put the vine in, add some leaves, then add a layer of resin before you add him. Put the vine in. Oh, I see. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. All right, let me give him his little eye dot. Look back at the original. And then he needs his little jaw orange. Just to give the illusion that I tried. Definitely not looking as nice as the other side. Just use pear for his other eye. Oh, paint. Probably what you meant. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, is just paint the other side. So I think, let me let this dry before I do the dot for his eyeball. I think what you're talking about, the vine, let's put the vine in and see if that is okay. Don't know. The problem with this vine is sometimes it looks very flat. Like it would have to curl over. Like so. I think I want to stick with probably one plant. So if I stick another one in, I think I want it to be this one. And it have like it coming out at the top. I could build up a few more rocks in the back to kind of stick this guy into. I think that's what I'm going to do. The same plants. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to put a few more rocks back here. And I'm going to use this guy to kind of block the back of the ugly part of the fish. So let me get some stones. Where'd I put them? Over here. Okay. I'm going to try and just do it in the back. And then, so I have to do this, put the plant in, put the other bone in. Trying to get in my head all the things I need to do. Okay, so I'm going to put a few more stones in here, just on this side. Okay, now where's my other bone? Luckily I don't have to balance a fish with all this too. Put the other bone in, kind of like a cross, like we had talked about, like a cross bones. And then once I put the resin in, I'm going to stick the plant in. So I have kind of a buildup of stones in this corner with the bone crossing. And then once I put the resin in, it'll kind of help me with keep the rocks together, and then I'll stick the plant in. That's the plan. Okay. No stress. Taking my time. Oh, here we go. Hopefully it'll start filling in the bones as well in the rib cage. And get resin around that guy. Yes?
Should the oven be on?
You can turn it off. I was baking fish.
Very good.
My husband wants to turn the oven off. Okay. Put in a little bit more. Am I on camera? Okay. I can zoom in just a little bit so y'all can see this better. All right, let me move this back a little bit. All right. That's what we're going with right now. Actually, we're not covering all the rocks, so I'm going to add just a little bit more. Okay. I think we're doing okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn my light. I'm going to have my light in my hand and put the plant in. Luckily, because it sticks up out of the top, it's easier to hold on to and make sure it's the way I like it. All right, here we go. All right. Okay, it's looking very exotic. And I kind of like how it's turning out. Like very not a normal fish tank, which is what the Addams would have, obviously. And I really, like, I can smell the fumes just a little bit, but it does say to use this in a well-ventilated area. So I have door open, fan going. Not the door to the outside, but just door in my house open. So you probably, if you can do it outside, that's probably a little bit better. But honestly, like for me, I don't feel like the fumes are that bad. But sometimes people can smell things better than I can, a lot of times. And people are like, what have you been doing? And I'm like, I can't smell anything. And anyway, so I'm not great at smelling fumes, but for me, I don't think they're that bad. Okay. All right. So the plant is nice and in place, and it's embedded in some rocks. We've got the bones in there. So I think the only thing left is to put the extra fish in. Tint the resin a little bit green. Yeah, the only thing is I do have some green ink. So we could maybe try it on the top layer to see if it looks like some scum on the very top. I did try in my video some acrylic paint and it looked really bad. So it was very, I'm very wary about putting things in the resin. I definitely need to practice that a little bit more. Okay. So I think that guy's good. So I'll hold this up close so y'all can see. Got the bones there in the bottom. Fish peeking out. And we got our plant standing up, and so far nothing's leaking out the corners, so that's good. So I say we keep going, keep filling up layers, and then, because really I don't need to add much anything else until we get to the other fish. Oh, let me dot his eye real quick. Okay. So I painted the back. It's not looking the best, but if I put him in front of the plant, it won't be as noticeable. So here's the front again. The front looks much better, and I do want him swimming that way, so that will work fine. So, okay, so now I'm going to build up the resin so that we can get this guy going. I'm putting in a lot more this time because I'm not having to be as careful with the things I'm adding. I just need to make sure I leave space for the other fish. And I want to make sure that I give bubbles time to like come out from underneath the bones. I'm going to kind of tap it to let some air bubbles escape. Try eyeshadow or chalk pastel so you're not adding moisture to the resin. Okay, that's a good idea. I have chalk pastel. Good coloring might work to mix the resin because it's initially opaque clear. Definitely looks too clean. Maybe mud up the outside. Yeah, it is looking a little clean. Like I said, maybe it was like right after they cleaned it. I don't know. We might do an experiment because I think we might have time to mix. I have some green ink and it's like neon green. So we might experiment mixing with that a little bit and see if it looks like there's some scum on the top. So we'll see. And I am going to definitely put some stuff on the outside of the glass. Just adding in a little bit at a time. I do see some bubbles coming out. So now our first fish is completely underwater. I'm just tapping it to make sure all our bubbles come out. All right, the first guy's underwater. Now I'm gonna cure it. So the interesting thing will be is getting the second guy to stand up. I may have to hold him while it cures a little bit. Oh, food coloring. Gotcha. I thought maybe Good Coloring was a brand. I don't know all the brands. Oh, now I'm smelling it a little bit more. And maybe the amount, it depends on the amount of resin you put in is how much you smell it. Ooh, look. Do you see my plant? The UV is it's the heat. It's the heat from the resin melting the plastic plant So I'm having to keep it straight up. Don't die. Don't die. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Your plastic plants may have a fit. But it will cool down, hopefully. Come on, come on. Sorry, my hand's all shaking. Just half under, hold them in place, then fill it up. Okay, that's probably what I'll do. This plant is just melting. Like right where the resin hits it, it's like making it to where it's not standing up anymore. All right, I'm gonna let this cool down so that my plant stays standing. Come on, little guy. Like I feel right now if I lifted up on it, it would just come apart because it's that melted. Come on, cool down and hold yourself up. Okay, so I will tell you that my thing just kind of, I think it got so hot, it bent. Do you see that? It just did that. So maybe I put too much in there and I just need to do like smaller amounts because it just like pulled those in, and that's pretty thick stuff. So I may actually need to do this again in the future and just do like much thinner pieces. Like I can hear the plastic popping. So I'm gonna do much thinner sections. Everything else seems to be holding up. It's just it warped this in, and obviously it's not gonna come back out. So I think just painting the outside of the glass some watered down browns. Yeah, I think so. So just keep that in mind if you decide to try this, because it is warping my glass here. And it's still very, very warm. I can feel it. It is very warm. So I don't know. It's all in the learning process. I mean, I may still use this guy, but I don't know. It's interesting. You've got to consider heat. You've got to consider that it's going to get instantly hard. So I don't know. All right. Well, let's just keep going. All right. So, let's see. Let's put this guy in and see kind of where he lines up now. See if it's his time to go in. I think that's a good level. Oop, y'all can't see. A good level for him. Like right out there. I can put him more towards the front, like kind of like that. What do y'all think? Looks like there's still a level of resin that's not cured on the top. So maybe it was curing the bottom? I don't know. It's a mystery. That's why it's an experiment here. Okay. So I'm going to put a drop where I think this guy is going to go, or maybe I should just go ahead and fill it up, set him in. I'll just go ahead and put a layer like that would be halfway up his body, and then set him in, and we'll cure it while I'm holding him. All right. Okay. Should be enough. I can't imagine like doing the whole thing and curing it like all at the same time. I don't think that would be a good idea. All right. Here we go with Piranha number 2. All right. Make sure he fits in there. And I've got a good hold on him. It grabs really, really fast, which is really cool. It's not completely cured, but it, like, as soon as that light touches it, it grabs it. Oh, there goes my plant. I wish you guys could see this, but I just keep having to stick my finger to hold the plant up. I like how their eyeballs glow. I wish it could glow all the time. Like, I need to get like a little black light to stick in here. Just 1 or 2 drops at a time in between cures. That probably would be good. It would take forever to fill up a fish tank. So I don't know. This may be like one of those things where it's better to do the 2-part resin if you know how to do it and it's and you have it. Maybe 2-part resin. You just have to like say, okay, I'm going to make this aquarium over a week's time. And I do know that the 2-part resin gets warm, but I don't know if it gets as hot as UV resin. I don't know. I don't know the difference very much between them. I should have probably put the fish a little bit more near the plant, but I didn't. So you can still kind of see, well, it'll be okay. It's an experiment. It'll be fine. So I kind of like, I was going to make him facing up a little bit, but I kind of like how they're looking at each other since they're star-crossed lovers, Tristan and Isolde. They're checking on each other, looking for food. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to put in as much. You can kind of see the layers a little bit. I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting experiment. So, okay, I'm going to put in another layer. I'm not going to put in as much. Tap it a bit for the air bubbles. Okay. I'm going to support my plant. So do any of y'all think you're going to try this? After seeing some of the struggles? I think it's fun. I think it's a fun process. I may try, if I try it again, I may try it, like I said, in thinner layers, maybe with thicker plexiglass. I don't know. I know there's some miniaturists that have made them with no glass, and they just have like a form, like a silicone form that's the size that they want it to be, which makes sense because if it's resin, you know, you shouldn't really need to have glass on the outside, and you just make it look like there is a, what am I trying to say? A frame. There you go, a frame around all the glass work. So it could be interesting to do it that way. Thank you. You like the bones? I like the bones too. All right, let's do another one. And it's still curved. So I think that's just the way it's going to be because it got so warm on that layer that we put in. All right, keep going. We may have time. Probably won't have time to do the base, but if I don't have time to work on the base of the aquarium table, then I'll be sure and put that at the end of this video when I re-upload it on Friday. Okay. Trying to remember not to put too much at a time. Who's gonna make one with a piranha in it. Although the piranhas, I mean, they're cool looking little guys. There's a lot of bubbles in here now. I wonder if that's because it's still a little bit warm. Try and take my toothpick and pop some of the bubbles. I don't know if y'all can see. There's quite a few bubbles. So I'm just kind of stabbing at them with a toothpick and you can get the bubbles out fairly easily. Luckily with an aquarium, it makes sense if there's bubbles. You just don't want like a bunch of bubbles all in a row because then they're like, obviously that was the line where she stopped pouring resin. So just trying to, a few bubbles is fine. Okay. Here we go. Support the plant. Although now it's got 2 sprigs underwater, so maybe it won't fall as much. I don't know why my finger's shaking so much. You're too scared to use resin? I was too scared as well, and then I did my Kraken project and it failed spectacularly. Well, it didn't fail. The resin failed. The project turned out okay, but I'm still wary of it and I still check it because the resin never cured to make sure that it's not just suddenly leaking everywhere and ruining my cabinet where it's standing right now. So the project survived, but the resin still makes me nervous because it's not cured. So, you know, just go for it. The worst that can happen is it can not cure at all. Or you can have fumes everywhere. One with nicer fish. Neon colors. I think it would be really cool if you had like neon colored fish in there with like a black light on it. That'd be really cool. Okay, so we almost got this little top guy covered up. So let's keep going. I'm gonna do a layer thick enough to cover him up. Get him completely underwater. Underwater, just a few more drops. I think he'll be underwater. I still feel like there's quite a bit of resin in this thing. So this bottle says 60 grams. So I mean, if you're doing smaller projects, not necessarily an aquarium where it takes a ton of resin, it, you know, it probably lasts you a while if you're just doing like little things like puddles or like filling up like glasses, like trying to make certain type of drinks or something, or water glasses. Okay, let me get another thing and try and get some of these bubbles out. Nope, those bubbles are cured in. So, learning as we go. I think the warmer it is probably, I think because it's still warm from the bottom layers, that's why we're having bubbles happening more and more. Because it really, we didn't have a lot of bubbles on the bottom layers. They're just now starting to show up towards the top. All right. The plant's starting to be okay, I think. Maybe? No, I see it moving. Which way are you gonna fall? Now he's going back against the back, so the back of the aquarium's supporting him. Anyway. Usually you don't want bubbles in resin, but I think in a fish tank it looks more realistic. Yeah. I have a row of bubbles right here. You don't really want a row of bubbles. You want bubbles to go bloop, 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 up, not sideways. All right, we're almost to the top of this fish tank. Almost done. And probably after we're done messing with it, I'll go back and just hit it all around really good for a little bit with the UV light. Make sure it's cured all the way through. I'm not going to go all the way to the top, but just a little bit higher towards the top of the tank. Make sure my fish is covered completely. Yep, he's covered. All right, last layer. So I don't know if y'all can see the smoke coming off of there. There is little like smoke bits. You can kind of see it in the light. Can y'all see that? Ooh, it smells. Now it's really smelling because I've done this several times. I can smell it. I'm gonna have to, when we're done, I'm gonna open the back doors and just like fan the room out. Yep, that smells bad. Maybe a mask is a good idea. Ventilator. All right. Still, ooh, it's hot. It's hot. Science happening right here. Science. I don't understand the science, but that's what it is. Okay, so it's even warped even more. Can y'all see how much it's warped? That's crazy. I don't know. We'll just call it a fancy tank design. But here you go. This is what it's looking like. Little fish. One peeking out from the bones. Bones on the bottom with some rocks. I'll show you the back side. I think we covered up the ugly part of the fish. I mean, you can still tell he's not as fancy as the front. But I think for a first try on a fish tank, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, there's definitely some learning curves happening here, but I don't hate it. It was a good experiment, and like today I just wanted to get on here and play with the resin a little bit more because I did love working with it in my project, and so I just really wanted to see what else I could do with it. And someone mentioned a fish tank, and I was thinking I need to make a fish tank for the Addams family, so why not try it out? So for the base here, it kind of warped this part just a little bit. It's kind of like bending down just slightly. So what I was going to do is I was going to put another piece underneath it. Kind of like this. Let me move some stuff so you can actually see what I'm talking about. And move the paint out of the way so I don't get it all over myself. Okay, so I was kind of thinking about putting it like on another layer like this to make it look like a table. Oops, y'all can't see. There we go. Make it look like a table with a little lip on the side. So I would cut. I keep bumping it. Okay, I need to not look at the camera and look at the thing itself. So cut along here and then just add legs to the bottom is my thought process. So, I mean, the perfectionist, the lazy perfectionist in me is torn because like part of me wants to like redo it because it's so warped and just do little bits at a time. But part of me wants to call it a unique flaw and move on because there's so many other things left to do on the list. It's like I have to decide, does every single thing need to be perfect, or is it okay if some of them are a little bit flawed? So I don't know. I think I'm going to continue on with it and make the table. And if I'm happy with the overall look in the end, then I might just keep it. I'm not going to make a new one right now. Obviously, not sure I actually have enough resin, so I'd hate to like do that and then not even have enough resin to finish the project. But I don't know why I said but. I don't know what I'm gonna say. So yeah, I don't know if there's enough resin in there because obviously you can't see through the bottle, otherwise it would cure. So I need to kind of either decide I'm going to be okay with this for now and maybe replace it in the future if I decide to. And just, I mean, like the Addams family, I think they'd be okay with a warped fish tank as long as it didn't leak everywhere, you know. I'm all for storage in a dollhouse. Oh, the green on top. I forgot about that. Okay, let's see. Since we're experimenting anyway, might as well, right? This is, shake it up a little bit. This is yellowish green Amsterdam brand ink. So I will put just like a tiny dot on top. Move this back where y'all can see it. Move this guy. We'll put just a little bit on top, like a drop. We still got room on the top, so I think it'll be okay. And so I've just got like 2 little drops here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a toothpick and I'm just gonna dip it in the ink and then swirl it into the UV resin. The difficult thing about like taking it like 2-part resin, you can kind of mix it in, but UV resin, like you don't want to waste it because it's so expensive. Like, I mean, 2-part resin is kind of expensive too. But here we go. We're gonna try and mix. I just got a little bit on there. Try and mix some of the ink into the UV resin and see what happens. Not much. I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's kind of just kind of staying in like a ball chunk. Let's try a little bit more. I get a new toothpick because I don't want to put resin into my ink. Let's get a little bit more. All right. Yeah, it doesn't want to mix in at all. It doesn't want to have any part to do with the resin. So I don't know, maybe ink just doesn't like resin? I don't know. Perhaps a cabinet, the tank is inset in top, that way you not be able to notice it's warped. Oh, that's a good idea. To make like a cabinet around it. Kind of like that idea because that would help me not like see it all the time and be like, it's warped. Okay, so the ink did not want to, it didn't want to play very nice. So maybe it's that brand of ink, or I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't want to mix. I am going to kind of spread this over the top a little bit more. I think I need one more drop to make it spread over the whole thing. But we tried, so today was all about experimenting with resin, and that's what we did. So I may, yeah, Aileen just said add some moss, so I may kind of glue that on later. Let's get the top covered. Okay, almost. When it's a thin coat, you have to wait for it to cover the whole thing and be patient. I've painted with acrylic ink in between layers of resin, but also had trouble getting it to mix. Okay, so maybe just ink and resin don't want to hang out with each other. But But yeah, I guess you could paint like a layer of it in between when you're using the resin. But I do really like the idea of painting, like making it into a cabinet. One thing I did notice, I'll just point out real quick, is that the side pieces, oh, y'all can't even see what I'm talking about. Okay, the side pieces didn't warp at all. So I'm guessing it's just because these were so long and it got so hot. So if you made like a little, like a shorter tank, you know, like those little personal tanks, it may not warp as much. Or if you did like an octagonal tank, I don't know. But the short pieces didn't really warp at all. This one warped a little bit. This one didn't warp at all. All right, we're getting there. So I might add some moss at the top. It does need a little bit of help, but like I said, anything that I finish up, I will add at the end of my video when I repost this on Friday. So if you're interested in seeing what else I did to it, you can just like click on the video and like fast forward all the way to the end and see what I finished, how I finished up the cabinet. If I do a cabinet or if I do a table. I really do like the cabinet idea. That's why I call myself a lazy I can't even say the word. A lazy perfectionist, because if I can just like cover up my mistakes and be happy with it, I'd rather do that than starting all over again. So I do like that idea. But I would like to be able to see it from the front and the back, and I don't need like a whole nother piece of furniture in the conservatory. So I might set up the Addams family conservatory and kind of play with it and see what I can do to get it to be something that I'm happy with and doesn't frustrate me. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of glue this guy onto here. And so in theory, if it hadn't warped, I would just create this as like my tabletop and then add legs to the bottom. And I would just glue this together and it kind of looked like a table that had like a finished side on it. So anyway, that's what I got. I might go ahead and glue this on. We still have a little bit more time. Y'all have any other suggestions or thoughts or ideas if I do it again that might look a little bit better? Obviously, doing both sides of the fish might look better. Slabs of meat. Oh, that's a really good idea. Like if I make a cabinet, that could be cute to have. It could even have like a little cooler for like meat or something. Oops. So I may, you know, if I decide to make them a cabinet, it may be a good idea for them not to be in the conservatory, even though that's where they are in the TV show. I have quite a bit of room in the dining room, so they might end up there. But what about the table that isn't quite in scale that's in the conservatory? Oh, that table, okay. And add a top piece like a china cabinet, but without the bottom. Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. And like put the fish in there. Idea with the meat. So yeah, I'll have to kind of look at the pieces. Of course, this is like completely clogged because I never remember to put the glue back on my tacky glue. I don't understand why the tacky glue lids are still this tiny. Like, I lose them all the time, and so I leave it off, and that's when I create problems for myself. Okay, I'm just putting glue on the bottom. I know y'all can't see. I'm just putting glue all over the bottom of this guy, and I'm going to gonna clamp him down to this piece here. like so. Oop, I think I put it on the wrong way. It's not completely square. So let's see. Yeah, it fits better this way. And I'm just gonna clamp it. And honestly, I don't know. I could have maybe, if I had made the table first, it could have possibly been stronger and not warped as much, but I'm not sure. Like I said, first time I'm making a little aquarium. There we go. So I'll clamp that guy down there, like so. Oh! These are not the highest quality clamps. Where's this? I'm gonna take my Piranha guy away. Putting a toothpick in the top, that's smart. Why have I never thought about that? Where's the toothpick I just used to... Ta-da! Awesome. I love that idea. I lost my lid for my tacky glue. I just made a new one out of temporary hot glue. If you do it over, use anything to support the inside, kind of like you did with the finger on the flower. That's a good idea. I could also put, I don't know, I could maybe stick, like if I cut, where did that extra piece go? Like an extra piece of this stuff, the plexiglass. Like if I cut just like a really thin piece and somehow like stuck it in the middle to where you maybe wouldn't even see it once it was surrounded by resin, I could possibly have that, use that to keep the sides pushed out. But again, that would be an experiment and I wouldn't know if it would work or not until it either worked or didn't work. So I think that's it for today. Like I said, tune in for Friday and you guys can see how I finished it up, either if I made like a little cabinet to surround it or continued to make it into a table. Yeah, like a bracer on a real fish tank. So yeah, just I'll put it back up on Friday. I always have people go, where'd it go? I didn't finish watching it. Of course, you're at the end, so you did finish watching it, but if you see anybody else comment, it will be back up on Friday. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for joining in and thank you for the ideas. And yeah, hopefully I can keep this one the way it is and put it in and not worry about it too much and just kind of make myself happy with how it is, because that's a lot of UV resin right there. I hope I can just keep it. Yeah. I hope you guys have an amazing Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. And the next one will be, if I can uncover my massive amounts of stuff, October. Oh, what should we do for an October live stream? That could be really fun. Probably another Addams family, but we have to come up with something really fun. It's going to be October 2nd. Tuesday, October 2nd is going to be our next live stream. Should do something really fun and October-y for that live stream. So yeah, you guys have an amazing evening, and I will upload this Friday, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody. Okay, so to finish this guy off, I decided to make a really thick border around the top of the tank. So I just took some wide craft wood. You can also use like a popsicle stick, and I made a 45-degree angle on either end, and I'm going to do this for both sides. The reason I chose to use a wide one is to cover up that warping that occurred in the glass on the side of the tank. And once it's on there and all the way around the edge, you cannot tell that it's warped at all. You can also see I had to cut a little groove into the back piece to go around the plant coming out, but then when I paint that black, you really can't tell that that's happening either. So I just carefully go around the edge, make sure I have 45-degree angles cut in all my wood pieces, and eventually I have a little frame around the top, and you really cannot see the warping at all after that's finished. The next thing I want to do is paint the base black, and I did go back and make sure that the corner pieces were as covered in black as they could be, and after I really focused on that, not in the live stream, but where it was up close to my face, I got those pretty well covered so I don't feel like the bare wood sticks out as much as it did. The next thing I want to do is start making the table that's going to go underneath the tank. So I'm using some 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch craft wood, and I'm just going to clamp that onto the bottom of the flat piece that's the bottom of my tank and make that go all the way around the bottom. This is going to create some spaces in the corners to add my legs. Now I'm just kind of eyeballing how tall I want it to be, and once I have the height, I'm just going to make 4 of those to be the legs. Now they're pretty tall, so once I get them in there, they're not going to be super strong. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to add some extra strength at the bottom of the fish tank. To add the legs in, I'm just adding some tacky glue in the corners, and I'm putting them into the very corner of the wood rectangle that I made earlier. Like I said, these aren't going to be very strong, but I do want them to at least dry a little bit so the tacky glue has a hold on the wood before I start making the bottom piece. Now that those are somewhat glued, they're not super straight, but they're holding on to the base, I can start adding in some supports. Now I want to add a long support across the front, and I'm just going to carefully put those in and then clamp them down so that they can dry really well. And I'm just really going to clamp the front brace and the back brace, and then the side braces, they should be able to stay in with tension. So as you can see, I have the front and the back brace already, and I'm putting in the side brace, and I'm putting it up a little higher. It's not going to be at the same level, and there's not really a reason for this except for design purposes, and also if you did want to clamp it, you want it a little bit higher so that there's room for your clamp. So now I wanted to create like a little grid at the bottom, and this is so I can add a few details like we talked about in the stream, possibly adding some fish food or like a plate of meat or something. It could be underneath the fish tank, and I just cut some smaller pieces and laid them across the bottom, just kind of like a grill pattern. Does that make sense? I'm not quite sure. But that was pretty easy. Just lay it across the supports that I put in there. And now I'm just going and painting the entire thing black. I'm pretty sure I want to go back and add some metal details, and of course I need to age it, but I ran out of time at the end of yesterday, so I just ended up painting it and putting the piece together just so I could get it into this video before I put it up Friday, so that you guys can see how I finished off this fish tank. I really like how it turned out. Because I can't see the warp anymore, I know that I'm actually going to keep this piece, and I may make another one in the future, maybe not piranhas, maybe something else, but I will definitely keep in mind the things that I learned this time about UV resin and about how it reacts with plexiglass. Thank you guys for sticking around through this whole process, and here you can see it in the conservatory. I hope you enjoyed this live stream, and if you make it, make sure you tag me at Bentley House Minis on Instagram, or send me a message on Facebook. I'd love to see it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.